Hello, hello. This is GoMath for 4th grade, Chapter 2, Lesson 2.4, Estimate Products. Estimate, remember, it is making an educated guess. Products is multiplication. Essential question. How can you estimate products by rounding and determine if the exact answers are reasonable? Okay. An elephant can reach as high as 23 feet with its trunk. It uses its trunk to pick up objects that weigh up to 3 times as much as 165 pounds. As much as a 165-pound person. Wow. About how much weight can an African elephant pick up with its trunk? Let's follow the directions in the blue box. First one, cross out the information you will not use. Okay? If you read through this, we're using this 3 times as much as 165. We are not using this fact up here about an elephant can reach as high as 23 feet with its trunk. That's a cool fact, but we're not going to use it in our math problem. We don't need to know it, so we're just going to cross it out. Now, circle the numbers you will use. I will use 3, and I will use 165. And how will we use this number to solve a problem? We'll estimate 3 times 165. All right. One way, estimate by rounding. Step 1. Round the greater factor is 165, to the nearest hundred. Okay, we look 165, that's above 150, so we'll round it up to 200. Okay, now we'll use mental math. Think, 3 times 200 is 3 times 2 hundreds. 3 times 2 is 6 hundreds. So 3 times 200 is 600. So an African elephant can pick up about 600 pounds with its trunk. Holy cow. Another way, estimate by finding 2 numbers the exact answer is between. So, before we rounded up, now we're going to round down and round up to figure out 2 numbers that's in between. So 3 times 165 will round down to 100. So 3 times 1 is 3. Add my 2 zeros. And then this time we'll round up. 3 times 2 is 6. Add our 2 zeros. Okay, so 165 is between 165 is between 100 and 200. Use those numbers to estimate. Okay, 100 and 200. So, the African elephant can pick up between 300 and 600 pounds. All right. Number 1, is 200 less than or greater than 165? Well, when we're counting, we say 165 way before we say 200. So 200 is greater than. Number 2. So would the product of 3 and 165 be less than or greater than 600? Okay. Here's an explanation for this. It's going to be less than. And the reason why it's going to be less than 600 is because 165 is closer to 200 than it is to 100. Okay, there's 65 between 165 and 100, and there's only 35 in between 165 and 200. So it's going to be less than 600. I'll go ahead and write that down here. 165 is closer to 200 than to 100. So the exact answer, remember we rounded this whole time, so the exact answer is closer to 3 times 200 than it is to 3 times 100. All right, let's move on. No, we did not have to find the exact answer because this is about estimating. Okay, next up, describe reasonableness. Quite the word. You can estimate a product to find whether an exact answer is reasonable. Key, tell whether an exact answer is reasonable. Ava's horse eats 86 pounds each week. Ava solved the equation below to find how much feed she needs for 4 weeks. 4 times 86 equals a number. We don't know what that equals yet. Ava says she needs 344 pounds of feed. Is her answer reasonable? Well, we're not going to go in and multiply 4 times 86 to see if it equals 344. We are going to estimate, okay? So one way, estimate. 4 times 86. Think, round to the nearest 10. So we'll bring down the 4. And our nearest 10, is it 80 or is it 90? Well, we have 5 or more, so we are going to go to 90. And then we can do 4 times 9. We know 4 times 9 is 36. And we just need to add our 0 to the end. So 4 times 90 is 360. 344, right here, is close to 360. Okay, so it is reasonable. Another way, find 2 numbers the exact answer is between. Okay, so one way is we're going to round down, one way we are going to round up. Okay, we already rounded up right here because it was 5 or more, so we're just going to transfer this over to here. So 4 times 90 is 360 because we rounded up. Over here, let's round down. 4 times 80. Well, 4 times 8 equals 32. And we just bring our 0 over to the end. Okay, so blank is between blank and blank. 344 is between 320, right here, and 360. So 344 pounds of feed is reasonable. All right, share and show. Estimate the product by rounding. Okay, let's do it. 5 times 2,213. Okay, they want us to round right here. We are going to round to the nearest 1,000. Okay, so bring down our 5. 2,213 to the nearest 1,000 is 2,000. And we can do basic facts. 5 times 2 is 10. And we have 3 zeros. 1, 2, 3. There we go. Estimate the product by finding 2 numbers the exact answer is between. Okay, let's go ahead and do that again. 5 times 2,213. Round down, or round to the nearest 1,000. 5 times 2,000 is the nearest, which we just did right here, so I can just transfer it. And then this time we're going to round up. So 5 and 3,000. So 5 times 3 equals 15 plus 3 zeros. So our answer will be between 10,000 and 15,000. All right. You're going to continue on. You're going to tell whether the exact answer is reasonable. That's what we've been doing the entire time since we started this lesson. So you'll read through each one and you'll try to round and estimate and figure out if the exact answer that they give us is reasonable. Okay, same with over here. Same with all down here. So let's do this one together and then you guys are going to be on your own for the rest of the lesson. Okay. Kira needs to make color copies of a horse show flyer. The printer can make 24 copies in 1 minute. Kira says the printer makes 114 copies in 6 minutes. Okay, so how are we going to do that? So 6 times 24, and we want to find a reasonable estimate to see if the answer is close to 114. So we can either do one of two things. We can estimate, or we can find the two that it's in between. Okay, so let's take this one. Let's go ahead and bring it down. 6 times 24, let's round to the nearest 10, 20, which equals 6 times 2 is 12. Add a 0 on the end. Okay, there we go. 114 is close to 120. All right. But here's the thing. We just rounded down right here. Let's go ahead and round up as well, just to make sure. Okay, 6 times 24. We'll round up. 6 times 30, which equals 6 times 3, 6, 12, 18. Add a 0. Uh-oh. Her answer right here, 114, is not reasonable because it's lower than the lowest rounding. Okay, so we are going to say, we're going to make sure that we write not reasonable because the estimate 114 is not between the estimates of 120 and 180. Okay, 114 does not fall in between the counting numbers of 120 up to 180, so it is not reasonable. Okay, so for this next one, you'll do the same thing. You'll round down, you'll round up, and then you'll see if the answer that they gave us, or that they gave you in here, is in between those two estimates. Okay? When you go on, you continue all the way to the end of 62. Okay? You guys are going to do great. If you need help, let me know.